Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakahakodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled and teach well, and peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, and the righteous are the children of Israel, or the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today, more specifically the elect of the nation of Israel, because the majority of our people are wicked right now and follow after the ways of this world and are going to be destroyed for it. But regardless, when the righteous are in authority, when the children of Israel are back ruling in the kingdom of heaven, the people are going to rejoice because they're going to be ruling this planet under the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High through the scriptures, which is the only right way to live and the right way for the world to function. But as it says, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. When those that don't follow their rulership after the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi are in power, the planet is out of course, and the people mourn because it. But who are the wicked specifically? This is Malachi chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, and the biblical Edomites are known as these so-called white people today. These Americans, British, Europeans, Russians, South Afrikaners, Australians, those in New Zealand, and those 1948ers over in the Holy Land right now, calling themselves the people of the Most High. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. So the wicked, according to the scriptures, are the biblical Edomites. They were created to do everything clean contrary to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and to not be righteous. Hence, since they're in rulership, this planet is completely out of course. And the people are mourning. This is Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And the whole earth has been given into the hands of the wicked for this little season of their final rulership, which began with the Renaissance. And in this video, I'm going to be profiling two clips just to show that the people are definitely mourning under the rulership of the wicked, these biblical Edomites. And if they were allowed to rule indefinitely, this planet would be turned into a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland. But the first clip I'll be going to is on Wyon's YouTube channel titled Gravitas, Air Pollution Particles Found in Lungs of Unborn Babies. And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Every now and then, we come across stories that make us sit up on our chair, that unnerve us because of just how closely they affect us. Deadly cough syrups was one such story. Here's another. This story is about polluted wombs. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Air pollution has reached a mother's womb. In fact, not just a mother's womb, but the womb of many mothers. Black carbon particles were found in these wombs, in the lungs of unborn babies, in their liver, their brain. How did this happen? How did air pollution reach babies who are yet to take their first breaths in this world? Let's start with the basics. What do we mean by black carbon? These are among the many particles and gases that are emitted when diesel is burnt, or for that matter, even when coal is burnt. An unborn...
And where can we say the origins of what we know as air pollution today stem from? the so-called Industrial Revolution by these Edomites, where they started using all these different elements and chemicals and stuff to industrialize, and it's heavily polluted people and just the environment. And fast forward today, where all these different things have been exacerbated, and hence all these different issues affecting people are taking place. This is Isaiah chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. And when we go into the Strong's for the word languisheth, it's H535.
Strong's H535. Amal.
Amal, to be weak, to droop, to languish, to be exhausted, to be weak, to droop, to be or grow feeble, to languish. Verse 5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. And remember, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, the haughty people, or the proud people, these Edomites, who, as it's about to say, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. These Edomites do everything clean contrary to the scriptures and to the law, statutes, and commandments, hence why the earth is languishing and being defiled under the inhabitants thereof. And when you read Ecclesiasticus or Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 10, it says, as the king and the ruler is, so are the people. With these Edomites currently being in rulership, these other heathen nations are following after their practices because they see that that's what's so-called led them to be in power, so they might as well do the same to get the same power. So these different heathens are doing the same industrial practices that these Edomites did, and further exacerbating the problems on the earth. And as it also says in Psalms chapter 12, when the vilest men are exalted, the basest of men, the Edomites, the wicked walk on every side. Hey, these Edomites are currently in power right now, and these other people are following after their practices and wicked ways. And in general, the uses of coal and oil or pitch or the different elements on the periodic table that lead to things like plutonium or nuclear power or fire or anything like that. Inherently, they're neutral. They're not evil things. But when the wicked get their hands on it, hey, they're turned into evil uses. This is in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 39. I'm going to read verses 25 to 27. For the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, flour or wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. So the different elements and resources of the earth, and in general, they're made for the principal uses and the good things in life for man. But as it says in verse 27, all these things are good for the godly, and for the righteous. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So to the sinners, they are turned into evil. And when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. When the wicked, the Edomites, get their hands on the elements and the natural resources of the earth, they turn them into evil uses, causing the earth to languish and defiling the planet because they don't follow the covenants, the laws, statutes, and commandments. They transgress the laws, all that.
Baby is not exposed to any of this, but the baby's mother is. When the mother breathes in polluted air, it passes through her bloodstream and placenta and enters the fetus. Now, the number of black carbon particles in the womb varies depending on the amount of air pollution that the mother is exposed to. What does this mean for the baby? It means a risk of a preterm birth, low weight birth.
And real quick, it should be clear to see that the Edomites are the root cause of all the problems on the planet Earth. Because look at these past kingdoms that have been in rulership. Did you read in historical accounts of any issues like this taking place? Of course not, because even though those heathens weren't following the laws, statutes, and commandments, they still had a somewhat of a respect for nature and working alongside with it. But these Edomites have no respect for nature. It's all about greed and profit, death and destruction. Because as it says in Psalms chapter 17, verse 13, the wicked is the sword of the Most High. The Most High uses these Edomites as his sword and his whipping stick to mainly punish the children of Israel for transgressing the laws, statutes, and commandments. And what is a sword only used for? What is a sword's main use? As a weapon to kill. So if your whole purpose is to be a weapon, that's the only thing you're going to know how to do, is kill, cause death and destruction. As it also says in Ecclesiastes, who can make that straight which the Most High has made crooked?
Stillbirth, disturbed brain development. It may also mean a miscarriage. The experts who detected black carbon in the womb are from Belgian universities. They examined 60 mothers and their babies. They analyzed tissue samples from 36 fetuses. All of them had black.
So it was Edomites and Edomite countries doing these studies.
Carbon particles, even fetuses that were just 7 weeks old. This is a...
And a lot of those Edomite countries like to so-called say they're moving towards green options and cutting back on pollutions in their countries. But still, all these issues are being found amongst their populaces.
Scary finding. And it affects all the coming generations. You see, a baby is the most vulnerable when she is in the mother's womb, because it is in the womb that the baby undergoes key organ development. Pollutants are now interfering with the developing fetus. In fact, this has been happening for some time. It was in 2018 that air pollution particles were first detected in placentas. The finding was made by one Professor Jonathan Grigg of London's Queen Mary University. And
in another Edomite country.
Commenting on this recent report, he told a British media outlet, I'm quoting, "Seeing particles getting into the brain of fetuses raises the stakes because this potentially has lifelong consequences for the child." Like I said, this tells us what lies ahead for the coming generations. They may be born with health problems because of pollution, because of the pollution that their generation is not even responsible for. You know,
that's it with this clip. But again, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Now I'm going to just go to my second clip, just further documenting the wicked practices of the haughty people, the defilers of the earth. And it's on Timcast IRL's YouTube channel, and it's titled, "Study Shows Chemicals Damaging Testicles and Making Men into Soy Boys." And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes. And I'm going to play about the first 5 minutes of it.
The Guardian. Study links in utero forever chemical exposure to low sperm count and mobility. PFAS, now found in nearly all umbilical cord blood around the world, interfere with hormones crucial to testicle development. Could this be why there are so...
And talking about fetuses, unborn children getting attacked again. And we know how this Edomite society views unborn children.
So many soy boys. They say polyfluoroalkyl.
Hey, real quick, for the good are all things used for good. And a woman being pregnant and having birth and bringing forth children is a beautiful thing. Hey, but to the sinners and the wicked, hey, things are used for evil. In this society, it's looked down upon for a woman to be a mother, to have children, and to just bring forth children in general because of a so-called overpopulation. This Edomite truly is a damn devil out here. The earth languisheth.
Polyfluoroalkyl, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Substances are known to disrupt hormones and fetal development, and future reproductive capacity is largely defined as testicles develop in utero during the first trimester of a pregnancy, said study co-author Sandra Sogard Totenberg, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, of the Copenhagen University Hospital. Quote, "It makes sense that exposure to substances that mimic and interfere with hormones involved in this delicate process can have consequences for semen quality later in life." Yeah, but if you're talking about, mangling up somebody's boys while they're in the womb, isn't that going to impact a lot more than that? We got a lot of soy boys with low sperm counts. Could it be that these PFAS chemicals? I was talking about this because a lot of people, seem to have forgotten when Alex Jones came out and said they were turning the frogs gay. He's talking about atrazine and endocrine disruptors. So I was saying it's also PCBs and phthalates. There's a bunch of studies showing that.
And real quick, this video isn't giving any medical advice or commentaries. I'm simply just using this clip for the video.
Those things can mess with people's brains and development. Now we've got this story. This is
Also, I'm not a doctor or medical professional.
this is from today on The Guardian. This new study saying that these chemicals, polyfluoroalkyl, is that how you pronounce it? I don't know what
I think so.
is lowering sperm counts. And I got to imagine, the ubiquitous chemicals are estimated to be in 98% of Americans' blood, and they can cross the placental barrier and accumulate in the growing fetus. A recent analysis of 40 studies of umbilical cord blood from around the world found that PFAS were detected in all 30,000 samples. So, someone want to look this up? What is this chemical for, and why is it everywhere? Why has everybody got it?
Yeah, why not?
Well, they're called forever chemicals because they're impossible to get rid of, and they keep being persistent, and there's no natural way of them being filtered out or dealt with. This is why some people call them forever chemicals, and this is why some scientists have labeled them this.
I tried to look up the NIH's.gov page on it, and it says it no longer exists. Are you getting that error?
Well, I got it here on Wikipedia. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. And it just explains what it is, but I'm wondering, why is it everywhere? What
Well, a lot of people connect this to plastic.
Teflon.
Whoa!
Look at this.
Wow.
And non-stick chemicals.
Yeah,
Yep.
Teflon or aqueous film forming foam. So what?
And when you look at the origins of things like plastic or Teflon or anything like that, what nation of people were the ones to so-called first create it and bring it to the masses? Esau.
What are we scraping the Teflon off the pans and eating it or something?
Non-stick pans, and a lot of our packaging and a lot of our consumer goods, a lot of our clothing also is.
And again, Sirach chapter 10, as the king or the ruler is, so are the inhabitants and the people. So these other heathens are following suit after Esau, Edom's wicked practices, and just further exacerbating all these problems upon the earth.
Filled with a lot of chemicals that absolutely affect us. There's PFAs, there's microplastics, there's other endocrine disruptors, there's seed oils, there's people not getting any kind of sunlight, there's vitamin deficient diets. There's so many things you could point to when it comes to the destruction, the physical destruction of the modern man. And when I tweeted this story, I tweeted, there's a secret chemical war for your balls. Your balls are losing. And when you look at the rates of testosterone, you look at the rates of sperm counts dramatically declining in dangerous levels to the point where Jared Kushner's comments could.
And is this all by accident, or is there some agenda behind the scenes? You hear all these different so-called authorities in society talk about how the planet's overpopulated and things need to be done to stop rampant overpopulation and the birth of new people. This is the Wikipedia page for the Georgia Guidestones, which are no longer around. You had that incident that happened a couple of months ago where they got destroyed. Let's look at some of the tenets that were on the Georgia Guidestones. The inscriptions dealt with four main themes: governance, and the establishment of a world government, population, and reproduction control, the environment, and humankind's relationship to nature and spirituality. You will own nothing and you will be happy. The inscription read, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. And there are around 7 billion people on the planet right now. So to get it down to 500 million, a lot of things would need to take place to stop a lot of people from being born on this planet and to cull a lot of people currently living on the planet.
Be correct when he said we might live forever or we might be the last people to die because people aren't having children. People can't have children. Miscarriages are up dramatically as well. And this, to me, is a part of the larger depopulation agenda that is also plaguing the world right now.
I think, the mistake that Jared Kushner made when he said that he was, going to live forever or be the last to die, is that if there's one thing you want to avoid when you're hated by millennial leftists is Harry Potter references. And, Voldemort was like, only I can live forever. And so for Jared Kushner to go on TV and say something like that, it's like, dude, they're already calling Trump Voldemort. You don't need to help them out with the only cultural reference they have.
Right.
I've been thinking about these PFAs, like we're talking about, perfluoroalkyl, and like I microwave plastic. I probably should stop doing it completely, but I have like these single wrap bacons, and I put it in the microwave for 10 seconds and then eat it, and it's like just the plastic is like rubberized when I pull it out.
Just eat the plastic. Just chomp
take it all in one.
People are finding plastic in people's lungs, in people's blood. That's how far.
And I've done a few videos on the past dealing with microplastics and their detrimental effects. And that's a whole nother issue right there.
Plastics have impacted humanity.
They talked about how in the information I used in those videos about how microplastics getting into people's bodies can affect them on a genetic level.
That's a level that is not normal. That is not okay. That is affecting our human bodies in very negative ways.
Out of all the chemicals, I didn't hear anybody mention bisphenol A, and BPA was the first thing to wake me up via Alex Jones when I was working with him in 2009, I think. And I remember my girlfriend at the time. We were sitting there talking, and I brought it up, and I said, this stuff is in our plastics, it's leaching, it's in a lot of our canned goods. And she goes, Jason, I can't. No, Jason, they're not feminizing people. They would never.
And in response to his former girlfriend's comment, just look up Job chapter 39, verse 17.
Do that. And you wonder to yourself, is this part of a larger program to utilize these chemicals in everyday products to really change?
That's it with this clip. But hey, as we can clearly see, the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, the haughty people, the wicked, whom the earth is currently given into the hands of, who do everything clean contrary to the ways of the Most High. Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who has been revealed by the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers coming in the spirit of GMS, out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles on the internet, breaking down the scriptures to show who the man of sin, the son of perdition is. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, Edomites as a whole. But when we go to that word perdition in the Strongs, it's G684.
Strong's G684. Apoleia. Apoleia.
Apoleia. Destroying, utter destruction of vessels, a perishing, ruin, destruction. And isn't a human body a vessel? Air pollution particles found in lungs of unborn babies. study shows chemicals damaging testicles and making men into soy boys, that son of perdition, the son of utter destruction, at the vessels of human bodies and of the world as a whole, the real Duke Nukem. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if this Edomite was allowed to rule indefinitely, this planet would be turned into an uninhabitable, desolate wasteland. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved under the rulership of the wicked. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. The Most High has set up bounds which this Edomite cannot pass. And once he's fulfilled everything he needs to fulfill in prophecy and hits those bounds, that's when he's going to be taken out of rulership. And he's just about reached those bounds. The main thing we're waiting for right now is for the elites to mandatorily implement the charagma in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 to 18, that MARKOFTHEBEAST, which is the RFID/NFC MICROCHIPIMPLANT. And then shortly after that, that's when the Most High is going to take this Edomite out of rulership. And also, the days are literally being shortened. A couple of months ago, scientists came out and said that due to changes in the Earth's rotation, the days are getting shorter. So the Most High is showing us that we're getting closer and closer to Esau, Edom reaching his bounds, and that he's about to be taken out of power. And then the righteous are going to be put back into authority, and then the people are going to rejoice because this planet is going to be followed under the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Now I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 14. I'm going to start at verse 5. Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked, the border of wickedness, the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of, the Edomites, and the scepter of the rulers, their rulership being brought to an end. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, and using their military might to go and overthrow countries. And you've got sovereign leaders in these countries that want to help their people, but since they don't want to play ball with the dictates of countries like America, or don't want to allow the U.S. or these other Edomite countries to rape their nations of their resources, they'll say that that person's a dictator or a tyrant and overthrow them with that democracy grenade, and then set up a puppet that will allow the U.S. or these other Edomite countries to go into that nation and abuse their people and rape them for their resources. Bring good old democracy, good old feminism, breaking up the family structure and turning women into whores, bringing the alphabet lifestyle, beginning with LG, all these different types of madness. Carpet bombing people, dropping atomic bombs on people, is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. And when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the children of Israel are established again in the kingdom of heaven, ruling under the laws, statutes, and commandments, these people are finally going to see what a righteous rulership looks like. There's going to be clean air, clean water, the land no longer getting strip mined for its resources, animals no longer getting hunted to extinction, GMOs, cell and Wi-Fi radiation. The family structure is going to be back with the man at the head and the women and children in order, everything in its perfection. And these people are not going to lament the Edomites when they're taken out of power. I'm going to jump down to verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that dropped atomic bombs on people, that carpet bombed people, that waged destructive world wars that killed off millions of people, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, pollutions, microplastics, GMOs, all these other things out here, that open not the house of his prisoners, having the children of Israel, mainly in the United States of America, under his subjection, who makes up the majority of these prison houses out here? Is so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans, who are second-class citizens in this society and have all these different policies and laws in place to keep the children of Israel down and the lowest of the low in society. These Edomites. Again, when Esau is taken out of power, these nations are going to look at him and be like, was this the man that did all these horrific things in the past? Art thou become as weak as we? Because for the first 1,000 years in the kingdom of heaven, all heathens will be in slavery, building up the kingdom of heaven. So you Edomites are going to be next to these Moabites, the so-called Chinese people, the Ishmaelites, the so-called Arabs, etc., getting whipped on your back and building up the kingdom of heaven. You're going to be right next to them, and they're going to see you and be like, wait, you used to be in rulership. You used to be this big bad man, but here you are right next to me with chains on you on a chain gang, breaking up rocks and digging up gold and building up houses and other things for the children of Israel. But after that first 1,000 years, the other heathens will be allowed to go back to their lands and live in peace, though they're still going to be under our laws, statutes, and commandments for eternity. But as we've been reading throughout the scriptures, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. They're going to be happy with that because, hey, they're going to be living at peace, not under a wicked rulership, not being abused, having a clean environment and a healthy family structure. So they're going to be good. But as for you Edomites, after that first 1,000 years, every Edomite man, woman, and child is going to be gathered up and permanently culled from this planet by fire. And that's going to be all she wrote for the nation of Esau, Edom. And you can read about that in the book of Obadiah. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.